Thank you so much for your patience. I apologize for the delay. We were in an executive session from our work session that ran over. The time is 7:22. We are now going to look to begin the voting meeting for the month of December 2024. Today is December 17th. And if I can please get a motion to open at 7:22. Motion made by Trustee Mongan. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Travis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. If we'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And then I will turn this over to our superintendent in regards to high school student report.
Thank you, President Schneider. Good evening, everyone. This evening we have a high school student. She's here, right? Okay, Kifa Krishi, come on up and inform the board of the happenings from the high school.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kiva. I'm a part of Senior Most here at our high school. Tonight, I'm here to share all the events and activities put on for our school students and staff over the course of the last few weeks. So first, I'll begin with how the MHS counseling team met with all 9th grade students during their English 9 classes for freshman advisory on December 4th and 5th. During this time, the following topics took place. First, the introduction to our school's counseling program, Naviance. Second, students completed the Strengths Explorer Career Survey in Naviance. This helps students identify their key strengths that they can use as they proceed on their college, career, and life readiness journeys. Third, identify career pathways based on Strengths Explorer Career Survey results. Fourth, they reviewed the school's counselors' roles and how to access support in the high school. And last, scheduled 9th grade students' individual conferences with their school counselors. The next event I would like to talk about is Illusion. Our very own MHS rock band, Illusion, performed their 3 shows this past weekend to packed crowds. 19 student musicians and 15 crew members put on the 42nd annual show that will be remembered for years to come. Both the senior members and newcomers to the group had stellar performances. Another event that took place was a fashion show. The Fashion Club held their 7th annual fashion show. This year, the theme of the show was Met Gala, to highlight the students' own creations. Also, the Fashion Club sponsored 12 Spirit Days this month. To show school spirit every day was a different holiday to dress up as for a chance to win a weekly prize. The most recent event would be the Gingerbread House competition that was actually held today after school. The German Club hosted their 22nd annual Gingerbread House competition. In addition to MHS German students, all MHS clubs, programs, activities, and sports teams were invited to enter the school-wide competition. They had 80 to 90 students compete in 2 categories, Traditional Gingerbread House and this year's creative category, Famous Places in the World. The last event to talk about today is how the Model UN Club sent 6 delegates to the Masters School 3rd Annual Model UN Conference. This was Mahopac High School's 2nd time participating in the conference, which had over 230 students from 17 schools in the metropolitan area. Congratulations to our MHS students who represented us: Natalie Bruno, Felix Kopp, Eileen Contrino, Elena Gomes, Lucy Hernandez, and Sabrina Servadio. The Model UN Club was also invited to attend the Bard College's Model UN Conference this coming March. That is all I have for today. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. Greatly appreciated. Next item on the agenda is going to be public comment, agenda items only. And do we have anyone signed up for agenda item? Anybody out in the audience want to have a discussion on agenda items? All right, having none there, then if we can move on, we'll go to section 4 of our agenda, which is for reports. We'll start with the superintendent report. I'll turn this back over to Superintendent Tona.
Thank you, President Schneider. And to echo Kiva, Illusion this past weekend. Congratulations to all of our talented high school students who came together. They showed off their abilities to sing, perform, and entertain everyone in attendance at our annual Illusion concert. Special recognition to the students and staff who were behind the scenes. The video montages were excellent, and it truly made the entire show a wonderful event for all those in attendance, and special shout out to our own Mr. Przmilski for his efforts on Illusion. Thank you. And our universal pre-K for 25-26 has opened, so we have a form for anyone interested to participate in our annual lottery. If you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before December 1st of 2025, you are eligible to have your child participate in the free Universal Pre-K or UPK program. The lottery will be held on March 19th with a snow date of March 20th, and information can be found on our district website, and the form to complete is there as well. So we encourage everyone to share this information with everyone that they know that has a child eligible for UPK. And these have been a very busy and fast 3 weeks since Thanksgiving. It's an amazing month. It goes very, very quickly. Schools will be closed from Monday, December 23rd through January 3rd. We look forward to welcoming all of our students into the new year on January 6th, 2025. I wish our students, staff, and families happy holidays. Enjoy the time with your family and friends, and I wish everyone a new year filled with health and happiness. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that superintendent report. Next, we'll move on to our committee reports. We'll start with Finance Committee that met on December 3rd. Trustee DeLua?
Yes, okay, so we met on December 3rd. In attendance was myself, President Jonathan Schneider, Trustee Jennifer Travis, Trustee Michael Mongan, Superintendent Christine Tona, Assistant Superintendent for Business Alyssa Murray, and as Director of Technology, Ben August as well. We were presented to by Senior Partner Darren Icobelli and Manager Richard Vitelli from the Naraki Smith, and they did an internal audit, and the report was of the finding of the 23-24 internal audit. The focus was on fixed assets, inventory, plant, and equipment, as well as risk assessment, financial processes, and procedures. The fiscal assets results were in line with educational industry standards. Risk assessments results were acceptable with recommendations for revenue cash management, payroll, HR, and cybersecurity. In the 24-25 audit, the next audit, we're going to focus on payroll. Overall, it was a very positive audit. And this is one of the critical things that a Board of Ed, any Board of Ed in the state of New York does. The presentation, it will be online, and you can see them on the, I believe, on the finance page. Okay. Next, we went through the financial reports. I asked a few questions about certain of the warrants, which are essentially checks that go out for the checks that we pay the bills of the district, and these reports will be considered for approval under consent agenda for today. We also reviewed very briefly of the Rockefeller Foundation aid study. The discussion was of the report that had come out the day before on December 2nd. It's not certain what proposals will make it into the current New York State educational budget, and this is a very quickly evolving issue, which is significant because it will affect the aid that all schools are given, foundation aid. And then as added commentary, we did talk, we had comments about BOCES, the COSERs. COSERs will be discussed during the January finance meeting. We talked a little bit about tax certiorari, and the UPK process was discussed as Ms. Tona was just talking about. The bids are due January 6th, 2025. We opened the meeting at 6:02. We finished at 7:30 p.m. And the next meeting will be held Tuesday, January 7th at 7:15 p.m. at the Fall Schools in the PD room. The meeting was recorded, televised. You can see the not ready for prime players, especially me, on recording, and that will be posted to the website. Back to you, President Schneider.
All right, thank you so much for that. And yeah, take a look. If you want any more additional information, you could watch the entire discussion with the internal audit review, as well as the discussions for everything else that took place there, linked now in the video. Next, we'll move on to the Advocacy Committee. If we have the minutes available, I don't see them here, but I'll turn it over to Trustee Savino, Chair of the Advocacy Committee.
Good evening, everyone. My apologies for the late submission. The video and the minutes will be posted by tomorrow, so they'll be there for your viewing pleasure and to review. The summary of the meeting, we opened at 7:13. Present were Superintendent Tona, Trustees Harrigan, McCracken, myself, members Sturban, Iacono, Kolka, and virtually joining us were Ms. Master-Pietro and Ms. Degman. We opened with the pledge. We had a lengthy review of regionalization, foundation aid formula, some really robust discussions on what we're going to do for this year and focus on. Broke them out into two columns, or two categories. Topics for advocacy, for discussion, that we'll be looking to narrow down at our next meeting. Cell phone policies, vaping, electric busing, UPK money per student, special ed funding, fully funding IDEA and Title I, foundation aid formula, and regionalization. Topics for local subgroups, school statements to combat misinformation in the community, dispelling rumors, benefits of the arts, internet safety, literacy instruction, town hall meetings to discuss specific topics openly, parent survey, child care, focus groups, New York State assessment questions, project-based learning beyond STEM, and bus monitors for every bus, class size, and then DEI and Prop 1. We ended the meeting at 8:24. That is all I have. Thank you very much. And again, it will be posted tomorrow if you want to review the actual meeting or the minutes themselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee Savino. Next, we'll move on to the final report that we have for this section, which is from our Policy Committee for their meeting that took place on December 5th. I'll turn that over to Trustee McCracken as the chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy Committee met on December 5th at 6 p.m. On the agenda was a follow-up. I think I reported to the public last time. We are considering options when it comes to a cell phone policy. Nothing is set in stone. There is no proposal set forth, but we want to get a grasp between parents, teachers, and the community on technology usage as a whole, because policies are outdated and we want to take a look at what the stance of the district will be. The first follow-up on that is to send out a survey to teachers to see how technology has changed in the classroom, how it's influencing students in their learning. So our superintendent proposed the questions on the survey and received feedback from the committee of what's going to be sent out to teachers. Those are going to be sent out after the New Year's. Now that I've covered the first item of the agenda, I should also mention who is present. Myself, the chairman, trustees Jennifer Travis, trustees Lisa Carway, our superintendent Christine Tona, assistant superintendent Dr. Matt Lawrence, district clerk Melody LaRocca, and our attorney Dan Pettigrew. The second item was a proposal to amend the public comment section policy. It was a proposal that I brought forth for discussion. Currently, a couple reasons why it needs to be amended. For starters, we just allowed, if you may remember, public comment at work sessions and also public comments at committee meetings. Those are not outlined in policy of what the regulations behind those will be. So that's in there, as well as, quite frankly, the policy is not written currently in a way that is open or friendly to members of the public. There are certain things barring members of the public of can't ask any questions during the public comment, but it allows every board member to be able to question who's at the podium. It's really backwards, quite frankly. So there was a lot of discussion and gathering feedback on those changes. There's a couple items that the committee had some differences on that's going to be addressed at the next committee meeting. For the board's purposes, you're either going to see a compromise on these points or 2 to 3 alternative policies. That way the board can move in one direction. Some of these were how long residents have to speak. Currently it's 3 minutes. In my proposal, it was 5. In addition to, there's a limit on the agenda item at this time of 30 minutes. One of the proposals would be to remove any limit that if we go past the 30 minutes now people can't speak. It would be for people to continue speaking. There are certain proposals and great feedback from the members of the committee, Trustee Travis and Trustee Carway, and as well as our superintendent, who's very helpful with her insight. So what you'll see, board, is that will be further discussed at our next policy committee, and then the outcome of that will be brought to the next board work session, as creating policy is the purview of the entire board. There are a couple of things that we never actually got to get to because we had the advocacy committee next. So on the agenda for next time will be a discussion on board meetings, structures, timelines, agenda setting discussion, as well as a possible policy discussion on barring board candidates from campaigning on school grounds during election day. So that it was not touched at the meeting, but that is on the agenda and will be carried over to our next agenda. The one thing that got through that day was a records access policy, which you will see on the agenda tonight for first reading, waiving of the second reading. Basically what that means is if it passes with the consent agenda tonight, it becomes policy. This meeting adjourned at 7 o'clock, and as you may have heard, committee meetings being recorded is now the law of the land in Mahopac. So all of this stuff you can find on the district website. You go to the district clerk page, go to the board committee tab, and you'll see all of our current standing committees. If you click on those pages of the specific committee, under the date, you'll see the minutes. You'll also see a link to the full, unedited public video of these very public meetings. Clearly, I'm very excited about it. But this meeting was recorded, which you can see, and all the other public meetings will be up there for taxpayers to see. Thus concludes my report, and I yield my time back to you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you so much for the thorough minutes. Just a couple comments in regards to that cell phone survey. I know that this has been discussed. I think it's a good idea, having a air quote town hall meeting type for public discussion. I love the idea of a survey. I like hearing from the ad hoc as well from advocacy. Same discussion, so I think we have more than enough interest, I think, coming from the state as well. It's just a matter of implementing this. So if we can work on getting those surveys out, that will be great. And then the only other concern that I had, I know if I remember from June's meeting, very similar discussion took place in regards to campaigning. So if we could just make sure that we're consistent with what we had discussed at that point, if anything's evolved from that time. But thank you as always. And from that concludes what we have for the report section. The fifth item on our agenda is a donation of a Baldwin upright piano. I will turn the microphone over to Trustee Mongan.
Thank you, President Schneider. Excuse me. Motion to accept the Board of Education hereby accepts a Baldwin upright piano with the estimated value of $3,500 from the estate of Robert Sherman to be used at the Lakeview Elementary School. I offer this as read.
All right, there is a motion offered by Trustee Mongan. Is there a second on the motion to accept the donation of the Baldwin upright piano? Second. Seconded by Trustee, it sounded like DeLullo. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, motion passes unanimously. That'll bring us to the sixth agenda on our item, which is the consent agenda. Before we move for a motion on this, are there any questions or further discussion on any items prior to putting in a motion? All right, hearing none, I will put in the motion to accept the consent agenda as provided. Seconded by Trustee Savino, is that correct? Yes. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that passes unanimously. Seventh item on our agenda is resident comment. Resident comment, we ask all speakers to adhere to policy 1230 in the following fashion. Maintain a public decorum that is appropriate for a school. Address the president of the board. Obscene language, libelous statements, threats of violence, statements advocating racial, religious, or other forms of prejudice will not be tolerated. Comments and questions should be made in a respectful manner, and personal attacks or criticism of any person connected with the district are not prohibited. After reading that, I will open the floor for public commentary. Do we have anyone that signed up? District Clerk. Okay, if you'll please come up to the podium.
Hi. I just want to thank you guys for letting me discuss privately the situation and not have to spare certain personal details for my daughter publicly. But I would like to, I have many people watching in support. I have people here that have come and support me and my daughter. So I do just want to make public note. My daughter has been through many tragedies, as I explained, and unfortunately, many know in the community. They are asking her to leave Lakeview in the middle of the year. Actually, her last day would be this Friday, and she would not be able to return after Christmas break. Given the tragedies that she has gone through, I believe this to be very detrimental to her mental health, and I think that it is incredibly unfair to put this onto a 7-year-old, and I don't think that this administration is well equipped to understand child trauma and what they have gone through, and the comments that have been made to me in regards to my daughter speak for themselves. And I am placing her well-being and my faith in the board to please correct this and let her finish out her year at Lakeview, and I'll allow her to transfer to Fulmer next year, where she can then start with her brother, and I can work with her medical team to make the transfer as smooth as possible. It's still going to be hard. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard, and that summer would magically make everything better, but that time, rather than trying to do this over Christmas break when most of her medical team will probably not even be in office anyway for a big majority of that, would help this 7-year-old tremendously. And I thank you for your time in the private meeting. I really do appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else signed up?
No.
Okay, that is everyone that signed up. I'll open it up. Anyone in the public want to make a comment on not just agenda items, but you can make a comment on anything related to the school district at this time? All right, going once, twice. Okay, so on that, then what we will do is we will be moving to an executive session to discuss matters that are related to collective bargaining discussions, some human resources, and obtain legal advice on investigative matters. Can I get a motion to go into executive sessions for the items that were just mentioned? That is a motion by Trustee Caraway. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Mongan. All in favor? Aye. Aye, okay. And from executive session, we'll be closing the meeting, is that correct? Yes, okay. Thank you for your time. The holidays are coming up. Be safe. Spend a lot of time with your family and loved ones. And Happy New Year. Can't believe it's already going to be 2025. We'll see you all in 2025. Thank you so much.